digital world. And that is typically done through training and coaching. And most of my clients are of the pre-internet generation, but not quite retired yet, and really in their like encore type business where they've been in business and now they're still trying to do something online. Usually they are coaches or authors and that are trying to get exposure online and reach their ideal clients. So I think
Suzanne, you're muted.
Sorry about that. Nominate the next person, please.
Okay, Mark.
Thank you, Rhonda. My name is Mark Collins. My company is onweblocal.com. What that means is I help local businesses get business from the internet. I do what we call SEO, search engine optimization. But lately, I'm working with businesses not just to get their website to page 1 in Google, but to get their Google My Business listing to show up on the front page of Google. And Google My Business listings are really more powerful in most B2B, business to consumer, B2C businesses particularly. So I'm focused more on B2C, business to consumer, local, and again, working with Google My Business and the websites. And I've got clients all over the country. I've got clients all different sizes, from a small local business to a regional player to a national company. So that's me and what I do. Thanks.
Okay.
And I'm going to nominate.
Thank you.
Tony.
Hi, my name's Tony Mills. I am a graphic designer and a website designer, and I've been in business since the early 90s. I actually was really interested to hear you, Mark, talk about SEO and Google business, because we need help with that to get our business, our Google business listing more appropriate, because I seem to have a hard time getting it to be, well, anyway, we can talk about that later. But anyway, so I do graphic design, website design, a little bit of email marketing. I'm a partner, business partner with Constant Contact, and that's about it. My clients are, for the most part, local. Over the years, they have been more international, but nowadays they're more local, which I like. So that's me. So I'm now going to pass the torch to Laura.
Thank you, Tony. I feel like you and I should meet because I think there's a strong overlap. Oh, and I love your cat or dog. Oh, precious. So yeah, I think you and I should we should talk. But I'm a brand baker. I'm a design doctor. I'm a multimedia brand developer. And what that all means is that I work directly with owners of small to medium-sized businesses to bring design harmony, visual design harmony to every single aspect of their marketing and branding. And that can mean, that can kind of translate to core projects like logo design and web design, but a lot of the clients that I have, I've worked with for many years, and I've worked with them on not just those types of projects, but other kind of smaller detailed projects like highway billboards or Instagram highlight icons, conference booth displays, wait staff aprons, you name it. I feel like there's nothing that's like too small to not be made beautiful and brought in line with your brand messaging and your kind of your visual identity. So I do all of that stuff, and I love it. One of my favorite clients said to me recently, and I think this sums it up. He said, I feel like you can almost read our minds, so we don't really need to like tell you that much about what we need. So in my mind, I was like, yes, that's, I couldn't have said it better myself. And Lisa, I nominate you. I feel like we know each other somehow. I'm trying to remember how, but either way, I'll figure it out, but I nominate you.
I don't see your name.
Oh, I'm Laura Sorensen.
Oh, I probably know you through my sister, Kim. Fuller.
Oh, yes, maybe that's it. All right.
Yeah.
Well, I don't want to take any more time. I'd love to hear about you.
Okay, thank you. And I apologize. I've been all over the place trying to get myself situated here with camera and audio. Anyway, my name is Lisa Markovich, and I am also a web designer. I just and in my first year, I do mostly WordPress and focus on new and small businesses, um, website design, redesign, maintenance. I do a little bit of audio and video when it comes to advertising. I'm a longtime musician, so I have recording equipment and I'm able to do a lot of voiceover work if you need it. And so I'm just in my first year. I'm looking to meet lots of people so that I can continue my networking. Suzanne has been very helpful with all of that. And so I recognize a couple of faces here. And I think that's really what you were looking for, right, Suzanne? Because I didn't hear the beginning as far as what I'm supposed to do.
Yeah, that's all good. That's fine.
Okay.
Yeah, just a quick intro.
Okay,
Um,
great. And is there, I want
So
to.
I'm next. I think I'm,
You're next. Okay, great.
yeah, good, good. So Suzanne McDonald, founder of NIM, Newport Interactive Marketing, hashtag NIM Live. And this is our 11th year of doing NIM. Obviously, now we're all virtual. We were just chatting about moving in or staying all virtual. You know, probably through the winter now. And I'm thinking about switching up the format. I would love to get some feedback. I heard from Mark and Rhonda and Tony, so Laura and Lisa, to get your feedback on a little bit of a new format where traditionally we would have a presentation like Tony, Mark had done a workshop actually for the chamber on Google My Business listings. And so that's on the NIM website as a bonus. So newportinteractivemarketing.com, if you go /events, and then you'll see it. Also, Rhonda did a really great flash talk on email marketing, which you know a bit about. But anyway, so if you want the primer on Google My Business listings, that is a great place to start. Not that Mark can't help you, but it's also great just to kind of run through it. The other, so I'm curious what everybody thinks about, rather than doing the workshop style deep dive, if we switch to more of a panel format, and that I would do mini interviews with the panelists leading up to, at the end of the month, we would have a panel of 3 guests with a focus on, let's see, live streaming or multimedia or SEO. We did one on e-commerce in the spring. Just kind of curious what everybody might think about that, and less presentation and more Q&A. So Lisa, Laura, any thoughts on that?
Sure. I love that. I think it sounds, correct me if I'm wrong, but it sounds like in that type of environment, there would be 2 kind of benefits. The person that would be speaking would kind of maybe get to share a lot of their ideas and thoughts and skills, but at the same time, they'd be able to take specific questions from the audience. So you could kind of get a little benefits from kind of both sides, like, you know, maybe some good, like, however long you want to do it, 5 minutes or you know, 10 minutes of uninterrupted kind of like, here's what I do and here's why it matters. But then, you know, what problems can I help you with? Yeah, I think that's really cool.
And it'll drive conversation as well. So maybe
Yes.
new things will come up that we hadn't even thought about.
Awesome. Thank you. Lisa, any thoughts?
Well, I guess, yeah, I mean, I agree with Laura because you learn a lot that way. Even if you don't have anything to add or ask, you get to hear everybody else's questions and go, like, you know, with that type of interviewing. And I think you learn a lot that way. So I agree with Laura on that.
Awesome. Awesome. Yeah. So like I said, you know, I think we're all hoping that, oh, in 2022, things are going to be so much better. And I'm like, oh, I got to start planning for 2022 and trying to decide what's the best direction to go in. So I really appreciate feedback. And then in particular, are there any,
I have a question.
Yeah, go for it, Tony.
Are you going to do them live?
Yes.
Are you ever thinking about getting back together in person?
Well, the problem is that I have a household member who cannot be vaccinated. So that's kind of the problem where I'm at. Personally, I am also her school. We've set the rules that really indoor airspace should be on an as needed basis. Um, yeah, so I would love to be in person. I would feel a lot better if we could do it safely.
Right.
So I feel like, maybe we missed a window in the summer, but then I feel like this is the summer that everybody's like, I don't want to be working during the summer because we missed all last summer. You know what I mean? So it's like, I don't want to be networking. I want to be going on vacation and going to the beach and all doing things that I wasn't able to do last summer. But again, like I have to make these decisions. I have to make the call so far ahead that it makes it a little bit challenging to plan. But I would love to. So what I'm thinking is that maybe we would stack up more deep dives and workshops in the nicer months so that we could be in a place that has good air circulation, and we can have the windows open and things like that. But that also means that it's harder to have slide decks and things like that too, because just the lighting. So it's like all the logistics are a little bit tricky. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to getting together and seeing folks. That's for sure. Just that it's tough. Elisa's in a camp this week that they've been in session. She hasn't been there, but for 5 weeks the camp has been running. And then last week they had 4 positive COVID cases at the camp. So they're making everybody do baseline testing just to see where they're at. And it's like, how did we get this big spike out of like 200 kids at a camp? Which I appreciate that they're taking the effort to do that, and I think operating pretty safely. But it's like, it's stressful, and you keep hearing about things, and like as it feels like it's coming closer and closer. So, go ahead, Laura. Oh, you're on mute.
Sorry. Are you still in that location in Newport, or have you kind of given that up, or is that like on pause?
It's basically on pause.
Okay.
Yeah. So, I mean, there's a couple different options. We could be at Parlor. We could probably be at Innovate Newport. So I think that they would love to have us back. It's just,
Oh yeah,
again,
I think that's the place I was thinking of. I couldn't remember the name of it. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The one that's like the old school building, or the one that's like the bar?
Yes. The old school building. Well, I've been to the Parlor as well, but
yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. I would love to get back. But anyway, so let's get on with some tips and things. So, most everybody knows me, but we do have, we're broadcasting live on Facebook, and there's some links on LinkedIn. And so just a little bit background on me. I am a former Boston Globe journalist. I founded NIM pretty soon after I left the Globe just to build out my network. And I have this amazing network of amazing people like yourselves who, I do projects with and consult with. And mostly that's how I find clients. And what I do for clients mostly is take whatever business chaos in the marketing and sometimes business operation realms that's going on and create some order, look at their budget, what can we accomplish, and in what type of time frame, and who are the experts that we need. So in some ways, I can provide the services that a traditional agency would provide, but the people who I work with are people like yourselves who are subject matter experts in specific areas, and there's not this junior marketer layer of wheel spinning that often happens. And that's just the way that I have my business set up, and totally respect agencies and what they do, but it also can be a challenge just trying to manage people. And I like to work on a peer level, but I do have interns. So interns primarily are running Newport Interactive Marketing, and I have an intern program that's a student to employment program where I bring them on for a year, and then we are expanding that into a bigger course for recent grads to be able to transition into digital marketing and be able to work at an agency. And our agency partners are super eager to hire them. So we are looking for opportunities and ideas to help get the word out, because there seems to be this assumption that like, well, you just graduate and you get a job. And I would say that it's more important to get the right job, right? And really launch your career. So we help do that. And we put them through this boot camp, put them into an internship, and that all happens like, in the course of a couple months, and then line them up with interviews with our agency partners. So that's a little bit about what's going on with me. And I know, Rhonda, you have a really awesome tip that you gave out. And I said, hey, will you talk a little bit more about that at Open Mic Tips Night, or Tips Day, I guess we are now. So I would love to hear more about challenges.
So the 18 months ago when COVID hit, I mean, everything changed for everyone, right? But with my business, I was going into homes, and typically they were seniors, and that really had to stop immediately, as well as senior programs just started to ramp up. I mean, there were free help, so it had changed my niche a little bit. Prior to that, though, I had been doing some webinars to help the encore business people, baby boomers typically. So I reached out to my list, but just to my little background. But for the last 18 months, I've been studying under a mentor who is known as the father of challenges. Now, what challenges are is a marketing method, a new marketing method, and relatively, at least it's getting hot. Pedro Adeo started doing really high profitable challenges. He grew 2 businesses into 8-figure businesses on the back of challenges, and is teaching people to do challenges for their business. If you have an information product, challenges work really well, but they also work for local businesses as well, and people who sell products, because it works on the idea that people are given time versus a webinar. Most people probably been to a webinar and know that a webinar is a short span of time that you spend with someone, and they teach you something, and then you take the next step to take their offer. But that time frame is relatively short, and the people who do the webinars really have to be very skilled at selling, because it's such a short time frame that people get a chance to hear your message. With challenges, they run anywhere between 5 and sometimes 30 days. And what they allow is the person to come to your challenge to be able to experience you for a longer period of time. At the same time, they're getting micro wins. In other words, we're giving them daily things to do that are building towards the eventual offer that you have at the end of the challenge. And in addition to that, challenges work well because of the community that it builds. Because really, when you design a challenge, a well-designed challenge, is my tip, is by having a micro niche. In other words, so a group of people that have something in common. And the closer they have in common, the more community they build. Challenges typically occur in Facebook groups, because Facebook, the way Facebook works is that, well, we have billions of people on Facebook. And if your ideal client, like myself, is on Facebook, then, we can reach them organically or with paid advertising. But once they get into this community, they tend to really thrive and grow and really want to stay connected to the community. And in my case, myself, I've been doing challenges for myself and for my clients now for the past about 18 months. And I've been able to, on the back end, have master classes for my niche and create 2 Facebook communities. My current challenge that I'm running, I have to leave at 12:50, is at 1 p.m. today. It's a 5-day challenge. And it's interesting that Suzanne used the word chaos, because my challenge name, challenge names and the hook, as they call it, to try to get people to come into the challenge, is also part of the challenge design. And that's what I've been learning a lot about. So my challenge is called Peace with Technology, Calming the Chaos to Sell Your Coaching or Book Online. So it specifically identifies my niche. And it also is a different look to technology. And these people are those that really have had some I call giants, digital giants to overcome. So they're in the community. One thing that works really well is a tip for using challenges is that getting people to engage throughout the challenge by giving them assignments. And one of them is to go live in the group, to create a live video, create posts with the daily assignment. And Facebook algorithm loves that. It just starts to display the group posts to the people that are in the group. And then they start to interact with each other and build communities. So it has been, a learning, quite a thing to find out that people, not only myself had studied under Pedro, but there are people who are doing challenges that have exceeded, 10K in one challenge, $1,000, or in some cases, it's at $100,000 per challenge. I mean, it's just amazing what that time of building with the community, with the person, and knowing, liking, and trusting them. It's almost like a natural progression to go from the challenge to the offer. And of course, just an example of a local business that could use a challenge. And if someone, this was really an interesting thing, because I met someone who had sold to a roofing company. And of course, roofing companies have to be local, right? They're going up on the roof, they're in your local neighborhood. Well, roofing company had a challenge about how to, to pick the right roof and how to protect your roof, and all these different tips each day for homeowners that are looking to, keep their roofs up. And after the 5 days or 7 days, the challenge was they'd make an appointment to do a consultation. So when that person, makes the appointment, has the roofer come over, they've spent time with them. They've developed a relationship with them. So even if they get other quotes, they may not even get other quotes because they already know, like, and trust the roofer. And that person would be the one that they would say, okay, let's do my roof. So there's ways of marketing locally in addition to doing, and with Facebook marketing, you can, the demographics for even local zip codes, you can market to these people that they're looking for these particular services in your area. So that is just a little bit high level. If you have any questions about challenges, I can glad to answer them. But that's what I've been, it's really, it's been helping my business. Like, I was able to pivot, and now I have been able to reach and grow. I've got 11 new, I have a Facebook group of 57 people, but 11 new people have joined my challenge, and they're also inviting their friends. I asked them to invite their friends because I'm giving away prizes at the end for participation, for their people to bring friends to the challenge. So it's really fostering that community, and people we're built for relationships, we're built for communities. So it really goes along with the not only our humanness, but also it uses all of the marketing, like know, like, and trust, lead magnets. It's great for building email lists, challenges, whether the people come or not to the challenge and sign up. You can continue to communicate with them. And, scarcity, time sensitivity, all of those time-old marketing concepts are built into a challenge. That's why, another reason why they work so well.
I have a question.
Sure.
I mean, I might be asking a stupid question, but is this a new thing that's been happening?
I don't think challenges are new. It's just, I don't know about others that are, what you see if you're on Facebook, what you see in your news feeds, but I mean, I'm seeing challenges for all these different things more since, of course, the last 18 months with the pandemic than ever. People being home more and able to attend challenges more. It's not a new concept by any means.
Okay.
Challenges have been around for a long time, but as far as a marketing method that's profitable, that more people looking into, like myself, to attract clients, I think it is relatively new and becoming recognized as a marketing method of attracting, bringing cold leads in and creating hot buyers in a very short period of time.
Now, is there some kind of a guide or a list of how to, design and a well-designed tip I mean, how do you even start? I'm very new to this whole thing. I just signed up for one. So I don't even know how it works. I've never seen them on Facebook, to be honest with you. So that's why I'm asking, because it seems new to me. But how do you put together a well-designed tip? I mean, I know you say kind of focus on your niche and things like that, but
Yes.
are there specific things that someone can do?
Some suggestions that I have, I've been really involved in the getting educated on doing challenges by Pedro in the community. And I'm also studying to be certified in consulting for challenges.
Mm-hmm.
But I can offer tips here today. For example, I did mention having the narrow niche. Also, knowing what your offer is going to be is really important, because each day you want to design steps towards your final offer at the end of the challenge. And so people take these little micro wins, I call them, or steps towards the actual offer. So it kind of makes sense for them just to go to the offer and say yes to the offer.
Okay.
That's another thing. So it's important to really know, and not really to teach everything you know every day. It's really just, people call it taste and see, almost just like give a little taste, see what you like, and then continue on and offer more value, right? It's about serving, really, because
Oh,
challenges
sure.
can be free, or they can
Yeah.
be like under $100 is typically a challenge, but free challenges obviously attract more people. But
Right.
your eventual is to, even if they don't join the first time around, or your offer, take your offer, you built a relationship and you can continue that relationship beyond the challenge days.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you. That was helpful.
You're welcome.
I'm just curious what some of the prizes might be.
Okay. Well, that's interesting because Pedro gives away like Microsoft Surfaces and iPhones and all of those type of things. But he's got, like I said, he's got the expense, those businesses. But for myself, I'm giving away gift cards like for Starbucks, Amazon, things like that. And also, if you offer, you could give away one of your offer. So if people kind of get an idea already that you've got a product, so you could give away one of those as a free prize at the end. And I could see how it's motivated people to participate. It really works well. We all have that in us, right? We, challenged to be challenged, and to but people went live. I had someone go live that never went live before last night, and I was so proud of them, on Facebook to defeat that giant, that he had. So typically my business or my niche is women, but I have a few men that do come, older men that are authors and interested in,
That's
being out
fantastic.
there. So it was a male, and he's 81. So he was really very motivated to go live, and he was very happy, and everybody was cheering him on because he went live on Facebook. So
That sounds really cool.
it's
Ron, I know you
fun.
have to log off in a few minutes because you have a challenge coming up, but does anybody have other questions?
I could jump in here. I have a question.
Go for it. Hi, Steve.
Hey, Suzanne. So I'm dropping into the conversation here a bit late today, but I'm catching some of the conversation about setting up effective challenges and hearing a lot of the focus is on for a brand or for an entity or organization that is looking to engage its user base or clients around this transforming challenge of some kind. One thing I've been thinking about a lot lately is what the analog for some of these strategies is for professional individual types versus for sort of a brand and business trying to apply some of these techniques. Just in terms of trying to create content on Facebook and other places that integrate different aspects of a professional's identity. I'm looking to collect some good ideas for that that might apply to others who are struggling with that kind of presenting of oneself onto these platforms, and so what that might look like for a professional trying to say whether it's challenge or other types of activities that might kind of build those relationships without without necessarily being tied to a sort of business outcome, but it's more just for building the networks of identities and for kind of creating future opportunities that may come out of that. Wondering if you could speak to kind of the professional individual version of these kinds of strategies.
Yes. Challenges for businesses, we've talked about that a lot, but what challenges do is build this community that I was talking about. And of course, if Facebook works well for you, then it's a good place to have a Facebook group. And these people who join the group will continue to be in this group, my free challenge group. So there's continuing to interact with me and with others in relationship. And whether they take the offer or not, I have a free group for the challenges and they stay in that group, which allows me to reintroduce new challenges to them. And I have a paid group that people who go into my masterclass would be in. So there is a aspect of, just building community, and not just during the challenge, but having people invite their friends and continuing to invite people to this free group, having a relational community based upon a commonality that they have with each other and how I can serve them in between, not just during the challenge. Does that help or answer the question?
I guess one thing that I heard was how does an individual take this concept of a challenge to boost their own network? Does that sound right, Steve?
Yeah,
client, but the network itself, like
it's kind of building the network and the series of connections for building greater value for future kinds of opportunities that may come. So from a kind of individual level versus from a where the goal isn't quite so tangible as generating sales at a particular.
I think could probably apply it similar to colleagues. For example, having people join a group, Facebook group. I know LinkedIn has groups as well, but Facebook groups seem to work differently and in the way they interact and can meet, because you can have live video and that community meetings in the group because they have rooms in Facebook. So I think you could still apply that to your colleagues as well, and just creating a community. It doesn't have to be a community based upon B2C or sales. It could just be colleagues. People have something in common that can add value to each other, and someone to lead that, encourage people to interact. In order to interact, if you don't do a lot of interacting, then the algorithm is not going to really post you're going to see it in the news feed, your groups. People have to go there specifically to see the content. That's what I'm finding when my challenges are active. People are seeing things from posts that people have made, previously. So the idea is someone to lead the group, encourage interaction. It could be clients, it could be colleagues, but just having that community is, I guess, what I would answer your question.
The other thought that I have, or the question, I guess, is how do you, just keeping the ball rolling and engaging with people. And I feel that in particular, LinkedIn is getting very busy, right? There's a lot of competition compared to, say, 10 years ago, right? And now everybody's on LinkedIn because of COVID. So you really do need to transform your posts to be a lot more engaging. It used to be more advertorial, let's say, like I'm posting this, I'm posting that, as opposed to moving in the direction of asking questions and polls and all these other techniques. That the posts need to be more engaging by design and less promotional, I guess, whether that's you're promoting yourself or your business or something that you're trying to sell. It's interesting. I think two popular techniques are like commenting or applauding someone, or recognition is a big piece. That's the technique that I've traditionally used is, hey, we have these experts coming, tag the expert, try to get them, but even that, just tagging people is challenging. You do really, in my opinion, and I need to do better myself, is up the ante in terms of asking a lot of questions, but then you have to tag people so that they see the question and then will respond. And I think too that it's important to kind of take the time to have that meaningful interaction. So to ask a meaningful question and then that elicits a meaningful answer. And it's hard, I think. I mean, it's something that takes a little more processing. And I think everybody probably needs to do a better job at it, is my sense. And I think that's where the challenge is. There's like a little more meat to it. There's something to hang on to. And it invokes, like Rhonda was saying, this competitive spirit and the concept of a challenge. Like everybody loves a challenge, right? So it's just sort of baked in and it taps into that, but it also takes away it's pre-planned, right? So it's not just like a post. Like Rhonda, how long did you work on your most recent challenge?
A few weeks of preparation. But then I continue to do the same challenge, and that's the good part of it. This is just a different concept that I decided to use to try this one, but I want to be doing this one now, one per month for the next 6 months. I'm not going to change it. So the initial investment is done in creating the content. I'm just going to market to different, same niche, just different people.
Yeah. Now, when you say a few weeks, is that like 40 hours total?
Oh, okay. No, that's with everything else I've been involved in. So
yeah,
it's true. It's 1 hours, maybe 10 hours.
Okay. Good. Nice. Okay. All right. So I know Rhonda has to log off because she's doing a challenge. And then Rhonda, just one other quick question. Do you post primarily within the group or do you post to other pages and things like that too? Or are you funneling everybody right to your group and that's the only place you're going to see that content?
That's correct. That's another thing. It is a private Facebook group. And once people join through my landing page, I get their email address and phone number to text them for reminders that everything's going on in the group. Yes.
Awesome. That was super, super fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thanks
and
for
I know you
letting
got a
me
lot
share
on.
that. I wish I could stay to listen to the others, but I'll have to catch the replay
There you go.
because I have to get ready to get on.
Perfect. Do your own challenge. All right.
Yes.
Awesome.
Okay, everyone.
Thank you, Rhonda. That was
Nice meeting
great.
you, and we'll have a great day and weekend.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
Any other tips? I know Mark always has some great tips, but just wondering, if anybody wants to throw out a tip or has a question too, and just wanted to say welcome to Doc and David.
I'd love to hear a tip from Laura. Laura, do you have any hot tips for branding or anything like that?
Yeah, sure. I've actually just been starting to, well, I feel like we could go in so many kind of cool directions here, but I have just been starting to use Clubhouse. I don't know if Suzanne, if like anyone has kind of recently presented on Clubhouse or anything like that, but it's up until very recently, meaning like basically like 2 or 3 days ago, it was a platform that you could only access if someone else that was already on the platform had invited you, but they've just opened it up to anyone. It is, just to kind of give you a really quick idea of what it is. It's they call themselves like drop-in audio. And the way that I think of it, the way that I explain it to people is it's kind of almost like listening to a newscast that you've actually picked the topic yourself. You've actually kind of gone and chosen a topic that you're interested in. So you can't record it because it's a newscast, but you can actually, raise your virtual hand and ask a question or kind of come into the process and join the conversation. So it's, in a way, it's kind of not cool because you can't access the talk or the comments at a later time. But in another way, it's really cool because just encourages you to, if you're really interested in a particular topic, or if someone that you know is speaking, it really just encourages you to be a part of that. So I'm in a lot of ways, I'm really savvy with some tech stuff. But with other things, I'm actually pretty bad. Like I don't really do like YouTube lives, and the challenge stuff that Rhonda was talking about seemed really cool, but I kind of like, wow, that sounds like just like a lot of work to figure out. And not saying that it's not something I might try, but I just actually just kind of dipped my toe into the waters of Clubhouse, just because a good friend of mine said, hey, let's start a club together. And so he's a voice coach, and I'm a design doctor. And so we call our club Brand and Voice Mastery. So there's, a little bit of a cool overlap with what we do, what our skills are. And we just started like 3 weeks ago. And it's right now, I'm not really seeing any, it's not like clients are, beating down my door to work with me. So I'm really kind of playing the long game, but right now it's benefiting me in several ways. It's benefiting me in that it's actually helping me talk about certain aspects of what I do in ways that I don't really talk about it. So it's actually just helping me be a better presenter of my own skills, my own thoughts and ideas, which is of course, it's always helpful, especially if you're a solopreneur and you don't really kind of get a chance to do that much. It's also kind of creating a really kind of cool, small now, but really kind of cool community. And it's really another cool thing is I'm getting really cool, interesting, unexpected questions from anyone and everyone that wants to join. And so I'm just feeling more connected. And I feel like, especially if you're a solopreneur and coming off the craziness of the last 18 months, I need to just be kind of plugged in at the risk of using a cheesy metaphor. I need to be plugged in to spaces that will motivate me, inspire me, places where I can encourage other people and receive encouragement. I know this sounds like really simple, but those are real important benefits. Those are really some real key benefits. So I would encourage you to all check out Clubhouse. It's I should have said this at the beginning, but it's just an app for your phone. So they don't have anything. They don't have like any kind of app that you can access through the website. Of course, they have a website, and you can actually sign up for the app through I think it's probably clubhouse.com. But if you are interested, I'm actually doing my brand and voice mastery with my awesome voice coach Daya every Wednesday at 12 noon, and you're welcome to come and ask whatever cool, wacky, interesting question you like about branding or vocal communication. Or tomorrow we're talking about how to nail an interview and
Awesome.
how to pick the right fonts.
Excellent. For your resume?
Well, actually, so my friend Daya, the vocal coach, she's the one that's going to be talking about how to really nail your next interview. So it wouldn't necessarily apply if you're a solopreneur, but actually, I guess it would if you.
Well, if you think about proposals,
right, exactly,
and sales pitches,
yeah.
It all is kind of the same thing, really. It's just how often are you doing it?
Yeah.
Cool. Well, that sounds great. And there's no visual, right? It's all audio.
There's no visual. That's the really cool thing. You can be wearing your pajamas. You can be wearing your pajamas. You can be eating lunch. You can, and no one will ever know.
Okay. That's a really great tip. Well, so tomorrow at noon, you'll be on. And we're almost out of time. So I just wanted to see if anybody had other questions. That's awesome. Thank you, Laura.
Welcome.
So
Thanks for
great.
asking.
And I think this is making me think that I need to do a little Clubhouse panel. So maybe for September. Okay. Any questions? Or any tips? Anybody want to share tips?
I'll just share a quick tip. And,
Thank you, Mark.
you know,
Awesome.
with Google My Business, you know, if you're not posting to Google My Business, if you're posting to Facebook, just do the same post to Google My Business at least once a week. Because right now, the the content of the post is helping you rank in Google search. And the other thing that Google's added is they've added products and services to Google My Business. And with Google My Business, the categories have always been terrible. They've done an awful job with categories. So now under your category, you can add services and tell people exactly what you do as listed on your website, and synchronizing what's on the site with the Google page. So if you're a landscaper, I use an example of weed control. If you have a page for weed control on your site and you add weed control as a service under landscaper, then you have a really good chance of ranking for weed control. It's that simple. So they're called justifications, and you'll see in Google search, this website mentions weed control, and it will bring up that person's GMB, and it will connect you to that business. So it's not a guarantee because there's 100 different factors, but if you have a good website and a complete Google page, and you fill in the services section, do some posting, you got a really good chance of getting more action. And pretty much everybody that does posting and ad services gets more action. So it's just like a website. The more content you put in, the more hits you're going to get. So that's a low-hanging fruit for everyone.
I'd like to add to the Google My Business because I do that as well. And I noticed once I started adding videos that everything went up.
Yeah.
Everything. So I've gotten more views on Google and people going to my site because of video.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
It really helped a lot. So just wanted to add that.
And again, it's just like anything else, right? Video is always the unsung hero. So, and yeah, it really is. Thank you for that feedback, because that's 100% accurate and awesome.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you.
I love it. I love it. And Mark, did you hear the news that Google is delaying, canceling out cookies?
Yeah.
That's
I didn't
huge.
read much on it yet, but I heard about it. I'll have to dig deeper on that later.
Yeah, it's interesting because every marketing summit, whatever, that's what everybody talked about is cookies are going away, cookies are going away. And we did a whole talk with Tom Inthroth about cookies make your marketing fat. But it still applies, right? Eventually the privacy issues are going to overtake what we are traditionally doing in marketing, and that you're going to have to nurture your email list and get your Facebook group and get all these pieces together. And you can't really invest all in one thing, because eventually that things change in marketing, especially digital. So it is 1 o'clock, and I'm happy to stay on, but just wanted to acknowledge everybody's time, and also to let you know that next month we have a really great presenter coming on. She's actually relatively new to Rhode Island, and she works for the United Way, and she's going to be talking. Her name is Adama Brown, and she's going to be talking about how to ask questions in a way that's going to feed your marketing. And so whether that's in a survey, whether that's, to Steve's point, a LinkedIn post or social media posts, like how can you ask questions in an engaging way, which I think is going to be really interesting and exciting. And also I think we're going to dip a little bit into the metrics. So how do you ask the questions so that you get the metrics that you need, but also how do you ask questions in an engaging way that will get responses? Because I feel like there's polls and surveys are everywhere. Everybody is constantly, and in fact, we're working on one. We talked a little bit about changing up the NIM format going into the fall. And so we're working on a poll. So I'd love to get your feedback. And if you could pass that around to friends who may be interested in NIM as well, that would be fantastic. And I put a link to our LinkedIn group And that's a great spot to just join, connect. There's not a ton of activity in there, which is good because you can kind of dip in and ask a question, and there's plenty of lurkers and plenty of experts out there, and I can always answer some questions too, since I feel like I have a great overview of all things digital, and then I know the exact expert who to tap to get your questions answered. But yeah, it's just so great to see everybody. And like I said, I'm happy to stay on and chat or answer more questions, but just wanted to acknowledge that it is 1:03 p.m. And
Thank
we'll look
you.
forward to
I have
seeing you in
to run.
August.
I have a client meeting, but thank you so much for today. I really appreciate it. Nice
Yeah,
seeing
thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thanks so much for coming. And thanks,
Yeah.
Mark, for your tip. And
Okay.
Steve for your question.
All right.
Thank
Well,
you.
see you later, Suzanne. Take care.
Bye,
Have a
guys.
good one.
Bye.
See ya.
Bye.
I've got a 1:15. I'm gonna jump. See ya.
Okay. Thanks, Mark. Thank you
Bye-bye.
again.
Yep.